Go live. Okay, I think we are. Oh, I have one more setting I want to do. I just realized I'm not up on my big screen. So that'll just take a moment here just to replicate, duplicate. We'll keep those changes. All right, there we go. That's much better. Oh, but now I have the wrong thing up there. Okay, now I have myself. Okay. Hi, everybody. Got in just under the wire. Hello, Barbara. Hello, Sandy. Hello, Dina. Good to see everyone here. Susan, hello from Arizona. Linda, good to have you from Beirut. Oh, my goodness. That's so fantastic. So, our little worldwide Sangha is gathering now together. Rivka is here from the Middle East as well. And so today I thought I would suggest a way of practice that might be helpful for us. And in doing so, it might be helpful for you in your daily life to move through the inevitable difficulties that might arise in your daily life. And we learn how to do this through our practice. The practice is simply that it's a gentle training that helps us to understand the workings of our mind, to understand our habitual tendencies, to experience all the different things that might happen in the body or the mind or the emotions in a hopefully safe, contained way. This is practice. Then there is life. Life and practice should not be separate from each other. You should be practicing in your life. In other words, 24/7. That's when you should be practicing. Now, this doesn't mean that there's some standard of perfection that has to be reached. This does not mean that you have to walk around slowly all the time and eat slowly and whatever it might be. It does, however, indicate that at any time we can return to the experience of our meditation practice as a reminder during the day. And when we experience these reminders during the day, it actually helps us to become more resilient to the difficulties, the inevitable difficulties that are going to arise, large and small. I always recommend practicing with the small stuff, the irritation about being in a long line at the grocery store, or the irritation of traffic, the frustration that might arise during our meditation practice when we believe we're not doing it correctly, or we'd like to do it better, or we'd like to have a different result. When we encounter these experiences, then we learn how to take those into our daily life and work with the difficulties that arise there, because this is really the point of these practices. It's not to say, okay, I spent 20 minutes on a cushion today, check that box, moving on. It really is about learning how to get up off the cushion and relate in perhaps more skillful ways in our daily life. So today's practice is going to be all about distractions. I personally, and many of my teachers as well will agree with this, I personally believe there are no distractions in a meditation practice. There are only experiences that arise. The lawnmower next door, the leg falling asleep, the recurring thought about what I have to do later or what I imagine I have to do later today. These can be seen as distractions. These can be related to as distractions. However, they are not in a meditation practice a distraction. They are simply another experience that arises toward which we can deploy our attention, including our reactions, and perhaps most importantly, our reactions to those experiences that arise. So when you notice that the mind has been taken off by some random sound, or it's a sound that the mind would prefer not being here, this is not a distraction. This is just another object toward which we can deploy our attention and practice with. Everything becomes an object of practice in this way. And then when we get up off the cushion, then all these things come to us, the pleasant, the unpleasant, the things we want, the things we don't want. And we have a kind of equanimity and ability to be with either experience equally so that they just don't bug us so much. All right, let's begin our practice by making sure we are comfortable. We're somewhere where we feel at ease as best we can feel. Maybe it's just on your sofa, you're still in bed, uh, you're sitting on a cushion, bench, maybe you're outdoors, indoors, it doesn't matter. There's no best way to do these practices. You can do them anywhere, in any mind state. You don't have to be in perfect conditions to practice. In fact, the less perfect the conditions, the better, because there's more stuff to practice with. And yes, Alex, you have summed this up rather well. Everything that arises becomes object of practice. That's correct. Hmm. Dina expressed gratitude toward her dishwasher for running while she was practicing yesterday and became distracted and annoyed and changed that to gratitude for it instead. That's another way we can work with these experiences. I'm grateful that I can hear the dishwasher. I'm grateful that I have a dishwasher. We change our relationship to experiences when we cease to see them as distractions and merely as objects of practice. So, beginning by perhaps closing the eyes or leaving them open to any extent, you can also open or close your eyes during the practice at will. You can move the body if it needs to be moved. And already there may be things happening, perhaps in the body or in your environment, that the mind does not like. The dishwasher running is not the problem. The problem is when it meets that mind that says, I don't want that. And so we can even include that in the practice, the not wanting. And as soon as we do this, the power of this experience melts away. So perhaps noticing experiences of sound in your environment, and notice that the mind may like or not like some sounds, and be honest with yourself. This is not where we pretend to like something or we pretend we don't like something. And there may be sounds that you do like. Perhaps noting a tendency of the mind to step in and tell a story about how much this is distracting, or how much we don't like it, or how much we like it. Maybe there is silence where you are, and there are sounds coming from within the body. Again, they may be wanted or unwanted, and they are here. They are not distractions. We turn toward them and we note our reaction to them. Now that we've moved into the body a little bit, we can also explore how the body is feeling if you haven't already. And whatever you encounter here, it's not a distraction. It's just what's here. We can also notice how things are in the mind. Quiet, noisy, calm, turbulent. It's just what's here. It can be known. It's just another object of practice. We can be grateful for our minds, just as we can be grateful that we can hear. And perhaps the most difficult experience to use as an object of practice would be emotional content. If there is something difficult in your life right now, and let's face it, there's something difficult in all of our lives right now, and this presents itself perhaps as a thought, or perhaps it arises from a sensation in the body, a little faster heart rate, perhaps. This is not a distraction. Like a sound, a physical sensation, a thought, we can turn our attention toward this emotional experience and use it as an object of practice, noticing where we feel it, the shape of it, the texture of it, the color of it, the temperature of it. When we break it down like that, it becomes simply another physical sensation. And now we've been practicing with it. So all of this is going to be going on. Sounds, physical sensations, thoughts, emotions. We're not going to stop any of this. It's just part of the practice. And we can rest our attention in a single object if you wish, something like breathing or the sensations in the hands. This is not the reason we practice to feel the body breathing. This just gives us a touch point to the present moment. You can rest your attention here in this touch point, in this connecting point. So let's just settle ourselves here, knowing that we're in the present moment when we feel the body breathing. And as we continue, there may be a notion that the, in quotation marks, perfect meditation is one in which we only feel the body breathing and we are never taken away by thoughts. This is, I believe, a mistaken notion. The practice actually is the being taken away by thoughts. It's very easy for us to say, my thoughts distracted me. They may have taken you away for a while. You may have lost your connecting point to the present moment. And because they took you away, you now have the possibility of awakening. You will awaken. You will realize you've been taken away. You can notice what took you away. Notice the residual emotions or sensations that remain after you awaken from where you got taken away. And then if you wish, you can return the attention back to the touch point. Now I know I'm present. I'm feeling the body breathing. I'm feeling what my hands are touching. Until, of course, you get taken away again. And it's the knowing that we're taken away, that realization that happens, that's the practice. That's what we're here to learn. More about that later, but for now, let's finish this practice in silence. And as we approach the conclusion of this practice, noticing what takes us away and noticing what it's like to return. So the distraction becomes practice. And of course, taking all the time you need to transition from this practice and in whatever way you need to transition from this practice. So this style of practice where we include what we might normally consider to be distractions as part of our practice, this helps us in our daily life when these inevitable difficulties arise. We can use those as practice. Or we can also just notice when we get taken away in our daily life, when we are not present. And to be clear, the point is not to be present all the time. Only a few beings have probably been able to do that, and probably not consistently. I mean, there are extended periods of time when we can be present, no doubt about that. However, the real point of all this is to notice when we get taken away, because that means we've sort of disconnected from not only the present moment, but from our wholeness in that moment. This is where our resilience lies, in our wholeness, in our ground of being. And in our meditation practice, we notice that. We can feel it. We can feel a sense of presence. And then all of a sudden we notice, wow, I was thinking about something else and I got taken away. If you can do that in your daily life, you might also notice that you are not so susceptible to reactivity. So just ask yourself, let's just boil it down to one thing. When do I get taken away? And notice when you do get taken away. That urge to check your messages on the cell phone, for example. Now it happens in the practice. I'd love to find out if anyone wants to throw up into the chat, what took you away today? And the most trivial, the more trivial, the better, really. Um, for me today, it was I wanted an Americano. I wanted a coffee drink. I was thinking, okay, when we get done today, I'll run over to Pete's and get an Americano, and then I'll run next door to Einstein's Bagels and get a power protein bar. Yeah, that's where my mind went. And I went, oh, wait, that just took me away. So it was kind of this moment of of separating out from the wholeness of the moment and into some thought about the future. And then, oh, and then I was back. And it feels so much better to be back than to be thinking about an Americano at that moment. Distraction is the practice. That's right, Ardley. Very good. Distraction is the practice. My mentor, Philip Moffat, first really got me going, really gave me the best instruction ever when he said, the wandering mind is not in the way of the practice. The wandering mind is the practice. Good. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Barbara. Good to have you. Hello, YouTube user. Susan in DC. Hello. Sorry about Arsenal. I don't know if you noticed or not, but Man City is playing their reserves. I'm not gloating much. The next thing on my to-do list, says Hardly. Yes, so many of us. Did you think about, oh, what I have to do next? What's on my to-do list? What do I think I have to do next? What should I be doing instead of this? These are those moments we get taken away, and we learn to love them. We learn to love them. Hang on one second. Voluntary offerings. And I want to put up here in the chat, this is where you can, if you wish, this is where you can make voluntary offerings to the Center for Mindful Living. Carla says, I get taken away when I blame my ADHD uh, and the brain for the brain wandering. So grateful this practice. Thank you. Yeah, okay. I get taken away when I go, oh, I have ADHD. Well, now you're present with that experience and it can become part of your practice. What is that actually like? Hi, Cheryl. Good to see you. Got taken away by overwhelming emotional and mental challenges in my marriage. You know, they may seem overwhelming. I have lived through them myself, not yours. I've lived through my own. And in that moment, there may be a thought, I'm not big enough for this. This is bigger than me. We may underestimate our ability and overestimate the difficulty. You will get through this. You will be okay. Find that essential ground of being and your wholeness, and that's where you're always okay. Got taken away. Barbara got taken away by worry about family members, of course. Yeah, and you're getting some love here, Cheryl, too. Yeah. And we have these things, and it's not to say we should go, oh, don't think about that. It really is more about, this is happening. I have these concerns. I have this feeling of overwhelm. We come back to it. This is not a clever way to try to get away from those things that are important in our lives and can be difficult. This is not that. This is really, if you will, and this is kind of sometimes I don't want to say dangerous instruction, but it can be problematic, is to lean into it a little bit, not fall into it. Make sure you still have your balance. If I lean too forward, I guess I'll fall into my computer. But so you lean into it gently. You go, oh, this is here. This is here. Oh, Elisha likes to say, touch it lightly and then back away. This is called titrating. We move in, we move out. I can handle it now, I can't handle it now. In any case, you're using it as an object of practice. This could be useful in your daily life too. You notice a sense of overwhelm, whatever it might be. You stop, you go, oh, this is happening right now. And it really just took me away from the present moment. Now I'm back in the present moment. Maybe I can just take a breath here. I don't have to dive into that deep end. I can just be aware. And now I'm back in my wholeness. Now I'm back where I'm well resourced. And Daryl says, taken away with planning that I will meditate more. Isn't that interesting? You're meditating, and now you're planning about when I'm going to meditate again. Isn't that just interesting how the mind can do that, can take us out of the present moment? Have you ever been on vacation and you find yourself planning your next vacation? Beyond this one, right? Noises of dogs, birds, rings, bring me back. Oh, bring me back, not rings. phone rings. Noises of dogs and birds bring me back. Yeah. So these sounds can be a place of anchoring as well. They're happening in the present moment. So rather than being a distraction, we turn toward them. We notice the quality of the sound, even if it is a sound that our mind is saying, I don't like. What is the quality of this sound? Can I name it? If I was describing this to somebody who could not hear, how would I describe this experience? And speaking of which, if you want to really use a very, I think, powerful gratitude practice, the next time you have a sound in your environment that the mind does not want or does not like, imagine that you have been unable to hear for your entire life until this moment. And this is the first sound you hear. Would you be disappointed or would you shed tears of joy? Even that can be used as a practice for gratitude. All right, everyone. Well, it looks like we've gotten to the end of our session. You know, we have a weekday practice that we engage with, a Sangha that we've had going since the beginning of the pandemic. And if you're interested in our weekday meditation, it's 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. It's a Zoom meeting, a very safe Zoom meeting. If you're interested in the link, write me at this address, roger@rogernolan.com. In Guna, my dear friend in Guna, hey, I'm going to be over at Pete's having getting an Americano in a little while. Got taken away by the smell of a dog next to me that needs a bath. And it turned to a long wandering. And probably if you're like me, and I know I'm like me, then you're thinking, oh, I should have done this before. I'm such a bad pet owner, or whatever it might be. Are we owners? That's probably incorrect to say now. We're stewards. And Alex again, hello. Yeah, into intrusive thoughts as objects of practice. Not easy. But this practice of gratitude can help. Thank you. Yes, indeed. No, it's not. Simple but not easy is what we always like to say about that. Cheryl, thank you. You'll be hearing from me as well. All righty. So I think I am going to leave it here. Thank you for being here, for your interest and attention, your engagement. And I will be back the third Sunday in June. And I think that is also right around the summer solstice, right? Yeah, I think it is. So we'll do a little solstice meditation to welcome summer. Thank you all. Can't thank you enough. I always love being here. I love sharing the Dharma with you. It's the best thing, it's the sweetest thing in my life. So thank you for being here. I'll see you soon. Bye bye. And I will enjoy my coffee, Daryl. Thank you. Thank you, Rivka. Good to see you. Thank you, Moet. Momoic? Momoic. Interesting. All right, thank you. Okay. I'm going to end the broadcast now. You can keep chatting, though, I think. I don't know.